Alright, first look at the MT Pro 8-channel lab scope. These are the two connections you need, and the green light telling you it's on. This is your power connection, and this is your LAN connection, or your network connection. Looks like an Ethernet cable plugs into your network connection on your laptop, and then the USB on the same cable is for the power supply. So I got that hooked up. I've got a secondary lead so we can just acquire a waveform really quick. But this is one of Joe's awesome leads. So if you're buying the scope, I mean, might as well get some accessories while you're there. So I tried this on both a Windows 10 and a Windows 11 computer. I was told I would need to set a static IP address in order to set up a local area network with the tool. I didn't have to. I had the program off like that, plugged everything in, and just went and fired up the program, and you can see no warning, and it does read. So right now I have it set up really simple. I just have one cylinder, and we have a trigger set up so we can get a waveform. We're going to set that up. I'm going to show you how to move the trigger back and forth and show you the waveform, and then we're just going to call it a day. We're just going to get everything set up. So first I'm going to mess up all my settings so you can see how I got here. So since we're hooked up to a secondary lead, we don't know how much voltage we're going to generate, so I'm going to start pretty high. We're going to start at 100 volts. Even though it's just laying on top, better safe than sorry, right? And really it doesn't matter where it's set, you're just not going to be able to see it. So we're going to hit the oscilloscope button, and we're going to hit start, and we're set at 20 milliseconds. So actually let's stop so we can get a decent waveform on this. Let's go out to 200 milliseconds. And you can see it doesn't change here until we hit the start button. So as soon as I hit the start button, it goes out to 200 milliseconds, and you can see it's recording, but there's nothing there. So let's go start our vehicle. Okay, so with the vehicle running, secondary lead where it goes, everything's hanging up and hooked up, you can see we have something. And we're getting a vertical limit of, I don't know, right? Because it's really fast. I'm only looking at 200 milliseconds. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at, right? And actually, I do have this channel inverted, so you can see with it not inverted, that's what it looks like. We're going to invert it and then turn our trigger on. And you can see we get this red line. If I go above the red line, the trigger turns red, and we're not picking anything up. We go just below it, and our trigger turns green, and it starts picking up something. And you can see here, when you click on that, it does give you a voltage on the corner. So we're going to set this down. Let's set it there. That looks good. And you can see it's actually focusing on this waveform here. And we can move this green arrow, and that moves our offset for 0. See, we're at 40 degrees right now. So let's zoom in. So now we're at 100 milliseconds and it's gone. There's our waveform. Let's lower our voltage. Something we can see. There we go. So we're at 20 volts. We lower this down below 20 volts. We can actually go a little lower if we want. Never mind. We gotta get below 15, so let's get our trigger below 15. Click on our voltage again, and now we can get it. So we can get this right down to where we want. You can see if it's above that, it turns red. Below that, shows up. So now we're set at 15 volts, but you see our scale's all messed up? That's because we didn't stop the scope. So now I'm going to stop the scope and then start it back up. And our scale is all better. So you can see how... And on the, I noticed on the oscilloscope function it's not so bad, but if you try changing the voltage and stuff with the scope running in record mode, it really kind of gets goofy. So always stop the recording or stop your scope, adjust your settings, and then hit start. So this is what we're looking at, and I actually want to bring my 0 up a little bit, so I'm going to hit the Alt and then the up arrow to bring my 0 up a little. And I do want to zoom in farther, so let's zoom in to 20 milliseconds. So we're going to zoom in here to 20 milliseconds. And you can see that looks weird, right? Because our 0 on our offset is way out here. So our 0 is 42. So as we bring it over, you can see there's our waveform. We move our slider around, see? There's that. Now, here's where it gets really weird. We're gonna leave it on 20 milliseconds because that's the window I want to see. We're gonna stop the scope and we're gonna start it, and our waveform disappears. But we can see just the beginning of the dwell time here. And the reason it disappears is because our 0 offset over here is over 20. That puts our waveform way over here. So how do we fix that? We have to stop the scope, come over here, click on the 20 milliseconds, go back out to, say, 100 milliseconds. You see it doesn't change until we start the scope. So we're going to start the scope, and then it changes, right? And then we're going to go to this green arrow, move the offset so it's within our 20 millisecond window. So now our offset's going to be 10-ish. So now we should have this waveform right in the middle on the 20 millisecond window. So let's stop it. Go back over here. Go to our 20 millisecond window. Now we're going to start it. And there it is. So that's how we can manipulate the waveform, but you just have to be aware of the weirdness of how the scope runs. So you always want to stop, make your adjustments. If you want to bring your time base out, it might be grayed out, but it will still change. You just have to click on it and then start the scope. And you can see we're limited to a second here. And if we want more time here, we have to go over to our sample window and say we're going to go down to, well, let's go down to 500K, because any less would be a little ridiculous. So now we can go out to 2 seconds. And you see it still doesn't change anything until we start the scope. Now we're out to 2 seconds, and you can see the oscilloscope will flash every 2 seconds and change just a little bit. But say we want to record that in just a recording mode, we can just let it go. And what's cool about that is we can actually just grab this and then zoom right in if we want and take a look. And it's still recording this whole time. Yep, and then we can just zoom back out to the 2 second window and let it keep going. So we're going to stop that, click on our oscilloscope window, start it again, and there's that. And I want a 20 millisecond window, so we're going to stop, start that, turn our trigger on, and there it is. So now we can get our nice waveform. And you can see even at 500K in the sampling, we still have a plenty good waveform. And we have more time, and our file is going to take up less space because there's less samples. So in the next video, I'm going to go over how to set up your sampling rate and how to adjust it so you have the best picture possible at the lowest sampling rate necessary. But we're running out of time, so that's for another video. I just wanted to show you the waveform acquisition, how to get something on the screen, how to manipulate the trigger. So I hope this helps, and I'll probably get the GoPro out for the next one or be back to voiceover on just so you have a better picture of the screen. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps you.